All right, so in my search to find some better looking electrical panel or panel box, I stumbled upon this company, so I think I found this. I was looking at solar and should I do solar in this house, and if I was going to do it, is there an alternative to Tesla, which of course there are, and then I stumbled upon this company Span, and so I just filled out their online form and wanted to inquire what does it cost to do this. And so because we're going to be building and modifying houses many times over in the next decade or so of my life, I wanted to figure out a better way to do your big ugly electrical panel. First thing to do is to not do it in the garage, but this house that I bought already has it. This is where it is, and I relocated in the last house. I didn't want to relocate it in this house, and so I wanted to find something that looked prettier. So when we do finish this garage, we get the lighting and the pressure washer system's going to go here. Get it look pretty. But I also wanted it to be something that was more functional, more modern, because a traditional, breaker box, you don't know which circuit's tripped. I wanted something that was app-based, that I could go on my phone and I could either turn a circuit off or see or diagnose a problem, see what's going on. And so I think we really got that here. So this box, they call it Span. I was calling it Spawn for first until I talked to them on the phone. But Span is the manufacturer of the box of the actual panel box. It has this fancy little LED setup that opens up when you turn it or turns on when you open up the box or open the door. The door has it's like an acrylic, like almost plexiglass. I don't think it's real glass, but it's some sort of acrylic, a hard plastic that looks really nice. And there's a nice solid magnetic click when you close it. We're gonna fix all this drywall here and make it look really pretty. But it's basically a direct swap for your regular Square D or your General Electric. I think we had a Square D panel here, and basically a direct swap. It's limited to 32 spaces or 32 locations. And so when the electricians came, they came out and did this whole install process. We did a bunch of tandems. So it freed up a lot of circuits for me, so that I just do have some room to do some add-ons in the future. But you are limited to 32 locations, and they are limited to, this is the only size panel that they have. So I'll show you in the master where we had a smaller, mid-size or half-size panel, 50% size panel, that I had to do the full size in the master. But now I've got a lot of circuit room. So the way the process worked, this thing costs right now today in 2022, it's summer 2022, the box, the physical box with all the digital circuitry costs $3,750. And then I believe the electrician was another $2,200 to come and do the swap. So each one of these is about $6,000 to have done. And if you were doing this in new construction, I would think that you wouldn't have that additional electrician cost. Shouldn't be any difference in setup of this other than a few little digital things that they would need to do, connecting to your wireless router and things like that, connecting to the app. So I don't think it would really cost you much more if you were doing this in new construction. And so each one of these boxes is pretty simple. You pay $3,750 for it. What I did is I submitted the thing online, they emailed me, we set up a Zoom call, they find out what you're doing, then I send them pictures of my current panel and what circuits I have. So you submit it through their online portal. It was amazing, it was turnkey. I wasn't even here. Mike stopped by, just let him in, and the electricians came, did the install. I came home, and everything was done. So in a day, I never even experienced any downtime or anything like that. So they came at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. in the morning, and they were out of here by 5 or 6 p.m. And I had my new boxes and access to the app. Really pretty simple. So the cool thing about this is one, they do give you a template, which I'm sure you could create your own template, but I like the fact that I have a template. I can scan the QR code and I can go and see all this stuff if I needed to. But the nice thing is I have this template saved, and if I have something different, I just go print a new form, I slide it in here, and we're good to go on our labeling system. So I can choose, do I want to capitalize or, have a certain amount of characters that can fit on here. But I like that kind of stuff where the old panel had like 37 different electricians and different scribble handwriting when stuff scratched out. So when we do something different in here, I can just go print this. I've got it saved in my, in my Darlington address file, in my file on my computer, and I just go print this thing out. So I do like that. And then the really cool thing about this is the app. And so I have 2 panels. And so I do have to go into my various shortcuts, and I have to switch from panel to panel. And so this panel has 20 active spaces that are working, 20 that are pulling some energy right now. So right now I'm drawing 8,420 watts. And then the other panel has 14 active breakers that's drawing 3,490 watts. So the house is drawing about 12,000 watts of energy right now as it stands, and it tells us, it's drawing 8375 from the grid. If we had some solar, had some batteries, it would also tell me where that's coming from. So the really interesting thing that Mike brought up here a minute ago, the cool thing about if you did a span first, then you'd really know how to size your solar system. So I'd really have a great idea of how much energy I would need to produce in order to be net zero, or maybe produce a little bit of energy. And then in the app, which I think is the neatest thing, is it shows all the various circuits. So all these circuits 1 through 32 show on my app, and it tells me what's on and off. And actually, what I have right now, I've turned the Tesla charger off, and right now I have fans that are I don't have a switch for yet. So actually, I've been able to just kind of go and turn the circuit off, and then my Viper fans will kick on when the circuit gains power, and that's also my lift as well. So I can digitally go and adjust, turn my circuit on or off, and then I can manually come and check it as well. So the neat thing about this is the other day, Ryan's room, something tripped the breaker, and so I was able to go into the app and see which circuit was off, and then I could come over here and then look at it, and then flip the switch on and off. So the app will not control the manual function of the switch on and off, but what it will control right now in the back end, it can turn that circuit off for the fans. So that circuit is, which one is that? Garage hoist fan. So it's number 14. So number 14 is still on. But I can turn this circuit off by simply adjusting or turning the app, the span app, on and off. So app gives me full control. I can set up, I haven't done this yet, but I can set up different areas, different zones, so I can track my energy usage better. If I go here and I go back to my home screen, it's actually telling me what circuits are using what. So right now I have 51% of my energy is coming from unknown circuits. So I just need to go and denote what type of circuit that is. So I need to go into the app. So I need to go into each circuit. Like for instance, I need to go into, kitchen lights, and I need to list, what is that? And so if I go into the apps and I search lights, lights, I can then choose, decorative lights, IKEA lights, lighting. So I choose lighting here, and then it would allocate that energy toward lighting. And so I can aggregate the various rooms, lighting circuits, and so that way I can then go and look at my charts and look at the data that this is providing me, and then I could start running reports and stuff. I really just wanted to see, a cool looking panel on the wall and have the ability to turn things on and off. So, but it tells me right now the kitchen lights are on. They're drawing 87 watts of power, which is 0.9% of the energy that's currently being used. Over the last week. It's used 0.3 kilowatt hours of energy, so I can look at all this history and analyze where my energy consumption is. Again, I'm not doing this for that, but if you were an energy nerd and wanted to try to save, power, you could, save energy. You could use this app to really figure out which areas you're bleeding energy and which areas you could really improve. So let's run the master real quick. We'll just grab the camera handhold and show you what the other panel looks like, and we'll kind of wrap this up. I'm not an expert in this, as you can tell. I'm fumbling through this. We just got it installed the other day, but I did want to show you this, because it may be something you may be interested. With my last few weeks of having this, I'm absolutely, any house I build or do, I'm going to do this. It's really, really cool, and really, it's functional. It's very functional, working really well, and looks freaking cool. So I'm a believer to spend the extra couple $1,000 over a regular panel. I think it's worth it. Let's go take a look at the master, and we'll wrap this up. So the other panel's here, and we had a 24-inch panel that was originally here. And so the guys came in, as part of the package I didn't pay. They just keep it flat. So no matter how much work they have to do, they charge the same amount, unless they had to run a new line back to the main box outside of the meter. But this one here, you can see we're utilizing only half of it. But I get the same basic idea where I've got things listed. They wrote it in here, but I'm going to go print it out and print a fresh one and have it, so that it looks that it'll be the same font if I add a circuit or something like that. But the cool thing about this setup, to me, this just looks like, I think, if you were selling a house and someone saw it, they'd be like, all right, this person knows what's up. And then in the app, what I can do is I can switch panels. So I can go and switch to this panel here, and then I can see how much energy is being drawn. It'll update here in a second, and it'll show me, what circuits. So this one's drawing 3650, and it shows me which circuits are doing what. Obviously, the air conditioner is probably going to be drawing the most power here. Air conditioner drawing 2,500 watts. Tells me, where lights are on, or where there's, smoke detectors are drawing a little bit of power. The water heater, a little bit of power. The den, the attic. So the attic, there must be a light on up in the attic there, unless there's some other things on that circuit. But I can go and analyze, how much power is being used. Obviously, heating and cooling is 70% of what energy is being used from this particular panel. Right now, there's no way to aggregate the two panels, they told me. So in future software update, they're hoping that they'll be able to take, if you had 4 or 5 panels in your house, you can put them all together. They're also hopefully working on building a smaller, 24-inch or some different size, 36-inch size panel. But right now, you can only do the 48. And gosh, I just think that looks so good. And next thing, so we have some paint to do to kind of clean this up. But that to me is what an electric panel should look like in the modern era. They seem to be one of the few, maybe not the first, but one of the few that's taking some old tech and old school thing that people overlook and adding some modern tech to it to give us something that's better than what we're traditionally used to. And so I put the money up, and I'm improving this house with doing things like closets and lighting and things like that. And so I paid the $12,000 to have this updated. I was also having a few problems with some of the circuits, and so gave us an opportunity to go reassess, make sure all of our breakers were good, and make sure all of our wiring is good. And then I get this cool thing set up in the house. So Span, go to span.com, check it out. It's not sponsored. I paid for this. I just figured I'd share it with you. It's something I found interesting. I really like it. It was just taking a flyer on it, taking a gamble on it, and gamble I think paid off. I'll be doing these in the house that I build when I build it someday. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you have any questions about it, you can shoot me an email, and I'll just give you my take. But again, I'm not an expert on this thing, but maybe someday we'll get a Span rep out here and they can really deep dive into why this thing is so cool. So anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.